All right, what's up, my friends? Welcome. We're finishing strong. The Dominaria United complete set review. Every single card, limited, constructed. This is the home stretch. Colorless and lands. You missed anything? You missed everything, basically, at this point, honestly. Go watch it on YouTube. White, blue, black, red, green, multicolor. Every card, constructed and limited. Let's freaking go. We're just going to blast right through here and get this done with so we can go to bed. First card is Automatic Librarian. 3 mana for a 3/2. ETB Scry 2. This is your classic, just like limited smoother card. You know, so if you're short on playables, your mana curve isn't really working out, you play this card, smooth things out. You don't want to play this card. If you have to play this card, it is not the end of the world. Simple as that. A Golden Argosy. We got a sleeper card here, folks. Now, obviously, there are kind of slim pickings here. So the awards in this section are a little more dubious than other sections because there aren't that many cards. But this card's actually pretty sweet. This is a 4-mana vehicle. It's a 3/6.
Oh my god, Becky.
It's a big booty. Whenever it attacks, you exile each creature that crewed it this turn, and then return them to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So, this card is like the card that Getaway Car always wanted to be. Crew's only one. So, you play this card. It can block if you have an untapped creature every turn you play it. But then when you fire up next turn, you crew it with the creature and attack. You can blink that creature immediately. Comes right back, gets extra value. It's also important to note that you can crew with multiple creatures. So if I have 2 multiples in play, they can both crew this and both get blinked, which is great value. So there's a lot of value to be had in this golden boat, and that's pretty sweet. You know, say you just have like a spiritual companion or whatever, the dog that draws a card in play, just whatever, that's that thing. Crew, attack for 3, blink it, draw a card. That's awesome, you know, so definitely going to need to do a gatherer search of all the ETB effects in Standard, but this card's got potential. You know, the fact that you can use it immediately is pretty cool. I like this card. This card's sweet. Is it good enough for constructed? I'm not sure, but I think the rate is there reasonably enough. And I think this card is better than like Teleportation Circle and so on and so forth. So, card's cool. Card's cool. I like it. And limited, if you've got cards to blank, this card's phenomenal. If not, it's just good. It's just good. Up next is Heroes Heirloom. 2 mana for an equipment. +2/+1. Equip for 2. If the creature is legendary, it is trample and haste. I mean, if you need a mana sink limited, this card will do it for you. It's not quite Volshock Morningstar, but it's not that bad. You know, I think if this is better in sealed. Basically, this is the mana sink card. If your draft deck needs things to do with this mana, this card can do that. You have a lot of legends. This card's okay, but not super exciting. Just an okay limited card. I would not be stoked to put this card on my deck, but I wouldn't be super sad either. Up next is Inscribed Tablet. 1 mana for an artifact. Pay 1, sack it, look at top 5 cards of your library. Put any land among them into your hand, the rest of the bottom. If you miss, draw a card. Or if you decide not to, you draw a card. So, pretty sweet card here, because this is a mana fixer early that can bind your domain lands, but late, it can actually just cycle and draw you a card, which is great. So, this is a very high value mana fixer for limited. Likes the card a lot. A Thran card? I don't think so, but not quite Ancient Stirrings, but definitely a solid limited card. I don't think this card makes a jump to a constructed format, but it is. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. You're right. My bad. I screwed up. So because it says reveal, if you have a land in the 5 cards, you have to choose one of them. So that being said, you can't cycle this later. Forget everything I just said. But still, honestly, a good mana fixer in general. In limited, you need to find your lands for your domain deck. This works pretty well. And if you totally brick, you don't get screwed, basically. So, fine limited card for sure. Joda's Codex. Reading freaking books. 5 mana artifact. Domain. Tap 5, draw a card. Costs 1 less for each basic land type. Very, very expensive. But if you're a domain deck and you make domain, this is the kind of card you play and you untap and probably win the game. That being said, 5 mana is an assload of mana. And we've seen a lot of cards like this in Limited over the last few sets where it's like a 5 mana Howling Mine. And they're almost never good enough. They're almost way too slow. So you need to be a really, really controlling domain deck to make this card work. Because otherwise it is just not going to get there. It's just too much mana up front. So, cool idea, but fringe limited card. Fringe limited card. Karn.
I am Karn.
This Karn is very, very weird. Everyone's hating on it, rightfully so, because it looks pretty bad. 4 mana for a Planeswalker, 4 loyalty. +1 to make a Power Stone token. This is an artifact that adds for Colorless, but can't be spent to cast a non-artifact spell. However, note that they are artifacts, they can activate abilities, and they are material. So I think people are discounting the ability, the possibility here. I think it is pretty good, but we'll see. The minus ability is pay any amount of mana, look at that many cards at the top of your library, then put one into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So this is weird, because I don't think I've ever seen a loyalty ability that cost mana before. Now, it's important to note that you can use the Power Stone to pay 1 for this, and just -1 draw a card. You can use the mana for anything but casting a non-artifact spell. So abilities, and so on and so forth. So you can use the mana for the second ability. So make a Power Stone, untap, -1, use Power Stone, draw a card. Still a pretty strange ability. It's a card draw. You can take some mana into it, but we gotta do more than draw a card of our 4-mana Planeswalker, Then -7, you get an emblem with tap and untap artifact you control to ping something. That's a very powerful effect. And obviously, that makes good use of the Power Stones too. So, in an artifact deck, that's pretty cool, but we're not playing for the ultimate. We just have this weird card that, makes these mana rocks that are, kind of weird and can, kind of draw cards. But in older formats, I don't know how you ever play this card over Karn, Scion of Urza in your artifact deck. So, it just seems really bad, honestly. So, I don't know. It surprises me where, it just looks so bad that it probably can't be that bad, but it does look pretty bad. So we'll see. I'm not sure. It doesn't look very good, though. In Limited, I mean, it's a card draw engine in Limited. It's very reasonable. You play it, and then you just untap with it, use the Power Stone, -1, draw a card. That's great. So Unlimited is fine. We'll see. We'll see. But weird, very, very weird card. For the face card of a set, it's a very, very weird one. Up next is Karns Cilics. The mana for a legendary artifact. ETB's tapped. Players can't pay life to cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. So, can't Phyrexian stuff. Pretty irrelevant, honestly. Exile Karns Cilics, destroy each non-land permanent mana value X or less, activate as a sorcery. So, we have sort of a mixture here of Niveral's Disc and Pernicious Deed, but it is damn slow. This card is really, really slow. Enters the battlefield tapped. Your opponent can deal with it before you can even use it. Then you gotta untap it, put a bunch of mana in it to use it. They can play around if it's turn to cast it. I think this card just isn't very good. It's just way, way, way slow. And the fact that it's an artifact and it can kill things is kind of cool, but it's not Pernicious Deed. Because if you have 5 mana, you can play it and then deed for 2 immediately. This card has to wait until your next turn. So, all in all, I think it's just a little too slow and crappy. That's my. I never liked Disc that much anyway for the same reason. Not really about this card. It might see a little bit of play, but I don't know. It's okay. And then Limited, it's fine. It's like a slow Wrath. I don't know. And Limited, I don't like that much either, honestly. I don't know. We'll see. For a Wish Board, sure. It's a fine card for a Karn Wish Board. Turns off fetch lands, which is mildly relevant. Makes some soup for Karn, I guess. But yeah, all in all, I don't know. Something starts very, very good. Meteorite. Now common. This card's pretty bad. This card is, if it dealt 3, I think this card's actually pretty good. But at 2 damage, 5 mana for 2 damage in Limited is not good enough. So, not good enough. Relic of Legends. 2 mana for a mana rock. Untap a legendary creature you control to add a mana of any color. I'm sorry, to tap it, whatever. Just a bad mana rock. In limited, it's okay. The problem in limited is if you're multicolors, you're probably domain, and domain wants land types, not artifact mana. So, you know, slightly passable mana rock in limited. Constructed, Salvage Mana Worker, 2 mana for a 1/3, which is not great. Filter a mana. I mean, if you're desperate for fixing, I suppose this card's kind of okay, but it's not great. I would not be happy to have this card in my deck. In limited. Shield Wall Sentinel. This card, I think, is actually surprisingly good. 4 mana for a 1/3 defender, so the stats aren't great. But when it ETBs, you tutor for a defender and put it in your hand. This is Goblin Matron for defenders. And as I've been saying so far for the entire review, Defender is definitely going to be a draft deck. Like, the Defender archetype is definitely a thing. This card is going to be a cornerstone of it. So, you play this thing, you get your Defender payoff card. Now you have a Defender in play also, so you're like synergizing and putting more stuff in play, which is great. This card's sweet. I think this card's actually actively good in the Defender deck. Most decks won't want it, but I think this card's actively good in the Defender deck. Moving on to Timeless Lotus. I know it looks like a commander card, but an artifact that taps for 5 is a lot of freaking mana, all right? And there are numerous effects that can untap this. So if you're playing a Karn board, say in Pioneer, you can like Kior to untap it immediately, which is kind of cool. There's Teferi, still League 1 standard. Teferi that untaps artifacts. Will this card see play? I probably not. You know, it is a 5 mana rock. This speaks more to the fact that there's like 10 artifacts in the set, and like I gotta pick one for best in show. You know, best in show is probably the Painlands. Realistically, if you're just like speaking on pure playability, but I think this card is better than it looks and constructed and has a chance. Gilded Lotus is obviously better immediately, but not as good overall. And there are ways to untap this as well. Again, Teferi being the big one. So we'll see. Probably not going to get there, but compared to the other cards, you know, choosing Painlands for best in show is not very fun. So I'm taking a shot here. Taking a shot in the dark, and we'll see how it goes. 5 mana is a lot. 5 mana is a lot. We'll see. We'll see. In limited, don't play this card. Simple as that. Vanquish's Axe. Bad equipment for limited. You gotta be pretty desperate to play this card. If it costs 2 and equip for 1, I'd be more about it, but 2 mana to equip over and over again sucks. So, bad limited card. Walking Bulwark. 1 mana defender. 0/3. Till on a turn, target creature with defender gains haste, can attack as a defender, assigns damage equal to his toughness. This is another payoff card for defender decks. Honestly, for 1 mana, this card's pretty good. So, pretty solid card. If you're the defender deck, you get the idea. And card's cool. Card's cool. Weatherlight completed. This was close to my trap card, but I got a more spicy trap card. This card's not very good. It's a mana for a 5/5 vehicle artifact flying. Not a vehicle just yet. Has no crew ability. So there's no way to make this a creature unless you use the abilities on it. So as long as it has 4 or more Phyresis counters on it, it's a Phyrexian creature in addition to its creature types. So how do you get those counters? Whenever a creature you control dies, put a counter on this thing, and then draw a card if it has 7 or more counters on it. It doesn't scry one. I feel like this card reads completely backwards. Like everything you need to know is below the line of the card line that you're reading. Basically, this thing says, whenever a creature you control dies, put a counter on this and scry 1. If there's 4 counters on it, it's animated. If there's 7 or more counters on it, draw a card. All right, there you go. I made it more simple for y'all. Totally backwards. Totally backwards. But this is supposed to be a payoff for like sacrifice decks and stuff like that. But the problem is, it doesn't actually do anything forever. 4 creatures need to die on your side of the board for this to actually do anything. And then 7 or more is a pipe dream. So this ends up playing out a lot like for the old quest cards, like Quest for the Gravelord, or they just kind of sit there and do nothing. You got to play it on curve, and then if it eventually gets there, they might just deal with it anyway, you know? So not great. It does scry, but I mean, I'm not paying 2 mana to scry when things die. There's a bear that does that. That's unplayable, you know? So I think this card's pretty unplayable. Just not great. You know, kind of a shame because like the Weatherlight is super cool. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's not great. Moving on to the lands. Folks, don't put this card in your limited deck. All right? Crystal Grotto, ETB Scry 1. Taps for any color. sorry, taps for a colorless, pay 1, tap for any color. This is just like the Grotto card that's in every other draft set. These cards are always terrible. They add a mana to your splash color. This is literally the set that has 10 dual lands in it and domain cards. You want your multicolored land to give you domain, all right? So this card sucks. Don't play this card. Scry 1 is a trap. Please don't put this card in your draft deck. Please do me a favor. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Moving on to Plaza of Heroes. Colorless land. Taps add a mana of any color for legends. Taps add a mana of any color of the legends you control. And pay 3 mana to exile this. And a legendary creature gains hexproof and instruct 1 of turn. This is a commander card. You know, unless there's some sort of like crazy all legends deck. Oops, all legends or whatever. Which I guess I'll probably play at some point on stream. Freshly brewed or whatever. This card is just too silly. But commander card, sure. You know, if you want to cast Isamaru or Ragavan on turn 1, hell yeah. But I don't think this card gets there, probably. You get the idea. If you're playing Legends, play this card. Simple as that, honestly. That's all there really is to it. Moving on to Thran Portal.
It's a trap.
This card's a trap. This card is definitely playable. Don't get me wrong. This card we'll see play. But this card it's just a really bad mana confluence. And mana confluence is not great. We have a land here. It has a lot of words on it. But basically, it's a fast land. So ETB's tapped once you have 2 or fewer lands. So on turn 1, 2, or 3, it comes in untapped. When the ETBs choose a basic land type, the land is that type. So you choose island, it's a blue land, right? So it's kind of like a weird, like reverse Fable Passage where it comes in untap early and tap later. The problem is that all mana abilities that this card uses cost 1 life to activate. So this is like a mana confluence that costs you 1 life to use every time, but only comes in untapped the first 3 turns and only taps for 1 color. So I would say this card has 2 possible homes. 1, if you're an aggressive domain deck that really wants to have untapped lands, but also have different land types. That's 1. 2 is in actual gate decks. So in Pioneer, or especially Historic, or my gate deck is the absolute nut. Go watch Freshly Brewed. This deck is awesome over there. All right, so this card allows for turn 1 a Boreal Grazer. It's also a uniquely named gate. It fixes your mana. Sure. In those decks, great. And then if you're desperate for domain in an aggressive deck, sure. But don't underestimate how bad paying a life for every single spell is. All right? City of Brass and Mana Confluence see very little play for those exact reasons. Usually they're only see play in all-in combo decks like Dredge or Ad Nauseam or whatever. You rarely see a Mana Confluence in Pioneer, even though the allied mana is so freaking bad. Mana Confluence is just hella rough. Hella rough. So I think this card has a few very, very narrow homes, but otherwise is pretty bad. And I see people thinking this card is like the second coming of freaking, Fable Passage or whatever, Unclaimed, whatever it's called, the Alchemy one or whatever. So, yeah, this card is not great. It is passable. It is not a card I'm excited about. It's very, very narrow. Please don't put this card in every deck you build. It's not that good. All right? In Limited, it's fine. I'm not thrilled about it, but it's fine. But in Constructed, this card is very, very risky. Please be careful. Moving on. Painlands. They're great. If you're going to give a real Best in Show award, give it to the Painlands, because they're going to be the most impactful card in this section for Constructed. We only get 6 of them, so only 3 of the allied Painlands for Pioneer, which kind of sucks, honestly. Not going to lie. But they're coming at least in the next set. And art here is great. Love it. But Painlands are great. There's definitely a bit of clashing here with Painlands and Domain because they don't have basic land types. But for sure, if you're playing Standard, you're playing Constructed, you don't care about Domain, you're playing for Painlands, it's simple as that. Cards are great. In Limited, they're fine. Honestly, it's funny. There's a chance in Limited that they're worse than the common lands because if you care about typing. But yeah, you get the idea. They're freaking Painlands. They've been around for 25 years. You get the idea. And then we move on to our last cards here in our Bombin Commons. These lands are going to be extremely important in your drafts. All right. Domain is a huge factor in this set. And I feel like these lands are going to be very similar to the snow lands in Kaldheim, where they're going to be high picks. You're going to want these lands early and often to help with your domain stuff. It fixes your mana anyway, but turning on your domain cards is going to be huge. And these cards do that really, really well. There are 10 of them. I've got obviously one for each pair. They are commons. I don't think there's one in every pack. That I'm not sure, though. But going to be high picks for sure. And don't sleep on these. If you want to draft domain, this is how you do it. These are high picks, mid to high picks. Get your lands and get them fast. All right. Wooded Ridgeline, great art on Wooded Ridgeline. Woo, you love to see it. So to recap, best in show is Timeless Lotus. Again, we'll see. There aren't that many cards to pick from in the color section. Trap card, Thran Portal. Be careful, please. Golden Argos is our sleeper card. And again, our Bombin Common is the common dual lands. These are great. I don't know about first picks, but they are definitely high picks, similar to the Kaldheim Snowlands. And that is it. That's the whole damn set review. Book it. I'm going to die, but I'm good. Reminder, 10 new brews on Tuesday. You can see all these cards in action. I cannot wait to do 10 new brews. It's my favorite piece of content that I do. I built 10 new decks with all new cards. It's great. It's on the early access stream, which is back. So I'm playing. It's all content creators playing all fun decks. It's awesome. That'll be on stream on Tuesday on YouTube to follow. Article on coolstuff.com on Friday. We'll have all the things on that. We got Poker Night tomorrow night. Make sure you show up for that if you're a pile driver in the Discord. Free to play with prizes. My sponsors. We got fantasy football signups, and on Sunday, free to play for pile drivers. Get in on that in Discord as well. And we got pre-release as well. September 3rd in the Discord at noon on Saturday. Free to play with prizes as well. It's a lot of fun. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. You're all awesome. Sub the channel $5 a month. YouTube membership $5 a month. Get involved with the community stuff. Get a holiday card every year. Get bonus content and support me because it's me. It's my job. And you make this possible, and I appreciate that, all right? Thanks for watching. I love you all. Sub a channel, sub Bronson Mythic, follow on everything, follow on Christian Mingle, follow on TikTok, follow on Instagram, follow on everything. I love you all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you for 10 new brews. Let's do this.